From this cursed Lego Skibidi Toilet to the world's most satisfying Lego fidget toys, we're taking a look at the 12 most cursed versus satisfying Lego builds. Starting with this cursed Skibidi Toilet army. This creator made every single Skibidi Toilet, from the scientist to the police toilet and even the urinal toilet, which we can all admit is super cursed but hilarious, so props to him. Moving over to the satisfying builds, things start to get crazy, especially with this Lego Slinky that literally moves like a normal Slinky. But there's a catch. This is actually a Lego animation and not just a build. No matter what though, this is a crazy satisfying thing to watch, to go back and forth just like a normal Slinky would. At number 2, we have this truly cursed Lego Cosplayer. And I'm super sorry you had to see this, because this Lego Cosplayer really thought this costume was it. But in reality, it ended up just being terrifying and super cursed. There's actually another cursed item later in this video that could have helped this cosplayer, so stick around to the end of the video for that. Luckily, to save your eyes, we have another satisfying build. And this one is a literal Lego minifigure factory, and this one I could literally watch for hours. The minifigures are assembled by the Legos themselves, and then you can even see the face get slapped on. It's just so satisfying. You know what I would not want to look out for hours though? Is this. And an insanely cursed Lego Nesquik Minifigure, which seems all normal until you take off the rabbit headpiece. And then literally, like, what is that? It was released in 2001, and because it was quite limited, it's now worth over $109. And at this point, just for how scary the face of that minifigure is, it should go down in value. But I suppose it is pretty rare after all. This is a rainbow Lego fidget toy. It's super satisfying to see used, and I can't even imagine how fun and addicting it would be to play with. The creator who made it even realized that it could be pushed inwards to extend it into a sword, which is super cool. I'm liking these satisfying builds a lot more, but we got to get to number 4 on the cursed list. These are builds based off every single character from the popular Roblox game Doors, which is cursed enough. These definitely did not need to be made into Legos. They literally built every character from Hyde to Screech and to even Jack, which was super weird to see in real life and not just in a Roblox game. And I gotta admit, the building on these is pretty impressive, but I would hate to have Screech just sitting in the corner of my room watching me sleep. Although I wouldn't mind this, a crazy satisfying Lego illusion. It starts off by saying no, and surely it couldn't be anything else. That is, until you spin it 90 degrees. The side of it somehow says yes, so it literally has the polar opposites in the same build, which is super creative. But now we're going on to the next cursed item. Trevor Henderson characters. I think we can all agree these are pretty cursed on their own, but in Lego, it's so much worse. This YouTuber built a whole scene of the Trevor Henderson characters, and honestly, the siren head has to be one of the most cursed builds of all time. It has a skeleton ribcage, which looks super out of place, and of course, the creepy sirens on the head. Adding Jar Jar Binks to the whole scene definitely did not make it any less cursed, and when we see the full thing all at once, it is truly wild. For the 5th satisfying build, we have this glass Lego rolling down a staircase, and it actually shatters into bits of glass at the end. I'm sure you've seen the real life version of this, so seeing it in Lego is just so satisfying. Number 6, this cursed build has to be one of the most wild yet, and it's none other than this yellow sphere made entirely out of Lego bricks. This creator started by making 4 round faces for the sphere. That seems pretty normal, right? That is, until he adds this special snot brick that connects them all in a 3D rounded shape. I don't know about you guys, but seeing a Lego sphere with studs facing out in all 4 directions just doesn't look right to me. This is a Lego rock being cut in half, and this is a literal UFO being chopped in half. Once again, Lego has to have some of the most satisfying animations of all time, especially when it comes to cutting the actual minifigure in half, which is amazing. Later on though, we'll see an actual minifigure get melted. For number 7, we have the Jack Stone Lego movie, which if you haven't seen it yet, you are in for a fun surprise. Well, fun is a little generous to be honest.
Today we're saluting one of our city's finest citizens, Jack Stone.
Introduced in 2001 was Jack Stone, who as you can see looks super cursed. When they made an animated movie for him, Jack Stone was the main character of Lego City, so he was always saving the day. But in this cursed Lego movie, it's hard to even pay attention to the story when the characters are looking like this. At number 7 for satisfying, this one does not disappoint. This dam breach experiment was done by a YouTuber, and when the water crashes through the wall, it is so satisfying to watch. The water floods the town, knocking over the figures, moving the buildings, and fully flooding the ground. And it even pushes around this supercar. Number 8 has has got to be one of the most cursed yet. ST008, otherwise known as the Lego Demogorgon, is pretty creepy. It goes for about $20 right now, which is definitely fair. This is one really cursed minifigure. I mean, look at this headpiece. But if you're a fan of Stranger Things, I can see the appeal of it. The fingers though, I don't know about those. This creator though made an entire breakfast all out of Lego, and he animated it. This is one of the most satisfying builds by a long shot, but we still have some of the craziest stuff up next. He starts by making the Lego toast, but that's not even the satisfying part. Wait for it, a beautiful cut. He does the same thing for a tomato and even an orange, which I could watch on loop all day. The most satisfying part though is when he spreads the jam all over the toast. I mean, just take a look for yourself. This is seriously satisfying. Coming up at number 9 on the curse list, we have Lego Sports, which at face value doesn't sound too cursed at all, right? Well, take a look. This retired 2003 Lego set had this Kobe Bryant minifigure, which has to be one of the most cursed Lego faces we have ever seen printed. Now, of course, this minifigure is a collectible, but I would be terrified to have this in my own collection. This Lego soup has to be one of the most satisfying things we've seen all day. They start by taking the lid off the pot, and they literally start scooping the bricks out like it's a liquid. Moving on to one of the most cursed looking video game characters that was ever made into Lego. Maybe you guessed who it is, but if not, it's Wario. He already looks funny enough, and when he is created into this giant Lego minifigure, he honestly looks pretty scary. Wario isn't nearly as scary as number 10 on the satisfying list. It's scary how real this looks. This is the Lego Infinity Cube, and it is based off the super satisfying Fidget cubes, but when it's Lego, it's just that much better. It looks super good and functions just like an Infinity Cube should, which is pretty cool. Moving on to number 11, which is on the official Lego website. They sell these super cursed Lego gloves, and for $13 you can become a Lego character yourself. And I gotta admit, this is way better than that role player we saw earlier in the video, but still, this is super cursed and hilarious to look at. I guess if you want to become a cursed Lego minifigure in real life, you can live out that dream now. Now this image, I'm sure we've all seen. This is the crazy illusion where it looks like the platform never ends, but Zach King actually made this with Lego. He had to wait for the right lighting so this would work, and with the perfect build and precise positioning, Zach King got this illusion in real life, and this is one of the most satisfying things I've ever seen. Finally, at number 12, let's take a look at the cursed Lego first, because this Lego minion, yeah, you heard me, a minion. Lego has made a few minion collab sets, but this one in particular just looks a bit cursed. Not to mention, the minion can literally open up and has an entire house and storage unit inside. You can even store a minion inside of the minion, which is pretty cursed if I do say so myself. Moving on to satisfying, we have this Lego brick that just got melted by a ray beam. Isn't that insane? This of course was another Lego animation, but this is one of the most satisfying things ever made in Lego history. I mean, just watch it again. There are even 1x1 pieces that come off of the melted brick. I mean, this is seriously cool. That was satisfying enough, but when this creator also melted the entire minifigure, that made it even more wild. With that being said, let me know in the comments if you preferred the satisfying Legos or the cursed Legos. And make sure to subscribe or I'm putting Legos in your shoes.